Hey, Jeff.
Hey, Eric.
How are you?
Pretty good. How are you?
Doing well, thank you. We have a friend who we've known for...
Well, we don't just have one friend. I want to make that clear. I don't want people out there thinking these two guys have one friend.
You don't want to start off.
No, I don't.
We have one friend.
No, I'm here to...
I hope this friend listens to the podcast.
If you have that idea of us, I am here to disabuse you of that notion. We do not just have one friend. We have lots of friends. Some of them we share. I have friends of my own.
I'm going to be very
Eric has friends of his own.
I'll be very honest. The more you fight it, the more it sounds
like we only have one friend.
Only one friend.
We have one friend.
We have a friend.
His name is Terry.
No, his name is not Terry.
He's worked in the industry for 45 years.
We have one of our friends.
One of our friends
works in this industry.
Okay.
We have a lot of friends who work in this industry.
Yeah.
But we have one specific friend who asked to be on the podcast and was like, where do you record said podcast? I said, from our apartment. That's the thing.
You said, listen, pal.
Terry. We record from our home.
Yeah.
We're recording there right now, actually. We are here in our apartment.
This is an apartment and a studio, but not a studio apartment.
That's right.
Look, just so people don't, people out there aren't like, hey, these two jokers.
Yeah. With their one friend.
Yeah, with their one friend sleep in a bunk bed.
No.
And then roll out.
No. Although, if you use your imagination.
Yeah. Ding dong. The guest is here. And then we line up by the door.
Clean up, Jeff.
So like it's the Brady Bunch.
So
we're like
behind me on this wall.
What's that movie? Oh, Sound of Music.
Behind me on this wall is a giant television. We have a bunch of apps on our Apple TV, Netflix, Hulu, YouTube.
Yeah. And
I bring this up because we share a YouTube app. On that Apple TV, and I'm sure
it's your account, right?
It is my account, but I'm sure, whether you're watching something or I'm watching something, the algorithm is figuring something out. But lately, it's tended more to my stuff.
Well, you use the thing more than I watch Netflix mostly.
Yeah, but this has been filled with...
Okay, well, we need to... Okay, I know what you're going to say.
Yes.
But we need to back up a little bit because where it starts is you were watching lock-picking videos.
Well...
But not just like one.
Well,
you watched a bunch. Like I know it started with me getting locked out of my room and we need to get into my room.
That is where it started. And then YouTube said, hey, if you like this
one...
one...
Maybe we are like the Hardy Boys.
You should watch 80 more of these.
Yeah.
And I do have to say, I guess it's like ASMR... which never really, pardon the pun, clicked with me. But, see?
Wait, I pretended to laugh, and then I actually laughed.
Because it was funny.
Yeah. But which was funny?
Mine.
Oh, okay.
Jeff, we share a sense of humor. Now, listen, I watched those lockpicking videos because YouTube said watch them, and I got into it. I was like, oh, will this guy ever not pick a lock, and how crazy will it get? So I watched a whole bunch of those, and then YouTube's like, I know you like those lockpicking videos. You know what else you might like?
Metal restoration.
That's right.
Yep.
That's right. And so I started watching all these videos about sandblasting. And by the way, fascinating stuff. Honestly,
Cool.
I couldn't get enough of it. I was just like, how in the world did they bring these flamethrowers and toys and old tools back to life?
Hold on. How do you go, that was some real diminishing returns.
No, I mean,
you started off with flamethrowers,
Yeah.
went to toys.
Yeah.
And then, what was the third one?
Old tools.
Yeah, old tools.
Jeff, just because you find flamethrowers to be the most interesting of those three doesn't mean that we both do.
I was talking to somebody. I was like, we need to bring the word tools back. Like
someone is a tool?
Yeah, because I was like, herb is so good and it's sort of back.
Yeah.
Tool. I feel like tool comes back too.
I'm down.
All right.
Okay.
Anyway.
So then I started watching those. Then YouTube was like, here's what's up next. Car restoration videos. Now, you know me. I'm not out back, wrenching on 36 Plymouths.
Wrenching on 36 Plymouths?
I know you're surprised.
Is that the way we talk now?
Yeah, of course. But
you know me.
I'm watching.
I'm not out here.
I'm watching these videos. And it is truly great stuff. The guy I'm watching, I've gotten to a point now with my viewing habits where I'm following this guy around the country, Tom, looking in people's backyards for not just working cars, but he wants like scrap heaps. He wants to find like a 56 Corvair that doesn't have any parts or engines in it. It's just like the body. And he wants to be like, oh yeah, well this had like, a straight Hemi and a block engine, and like, talking about like the different carburetors and where you can find serial numbers. And I'm just like all in.
Wait, that's it? He just asks people to like...
He wants to see old cars. They can be...
Yeah, but it's not an old car. It's just an old car, like the body of it. Like
Some
he
wants
you to use your imagination as to what this could be.
Well, yeah. I mean, he's sort of in the business of maybe someone out there is looking for an old body that they can team up with a bunch of parts that they can buy online and rebuild that car.
I am so
on
far
board.
out.
You're so on board.
I could
Jeff,
not be less on board.
Jeff, let's find a 67 Mustang body and rebuild it.
Just go to currencies.
Maybe
what?
that's the life I want to live. Maybe I'm just into rebuilding cars and I never even knew it until I watched on YouTube.
You live in New York City.
My point
you
is,
don't even
though,
have a car.
My point is, Jeff.
Here we go.
That we also share a Netflix account. And one day over lunch, we're both sitting at this table without all the recording equipment.
Because it's not always a studio.
And I found this stupid show on Netflix. And I was like, well, it's not about cars, so who knows if I'll be interested in it. Mm-hmm. But it is a game show, so maybe Jeff will be interested in it.
We're really going to talk about this?
This
is the worst show ever.
It's called Awake. And it is so bad.
How bad is it?
And they put so much money into this.
It's so bad.
You answered your own question.
It's so bad. What it is they keep contestants awake for 24 hours.
Right. That's the start.
Counting quarters.
Yeah.
And so the person who counted the least amount of quarters is kicked out, and the person who kept the worst tally of how many quarters they counted is also kicked out.
And then after these 24 hours, they're put in front of a live studio audience to do these dumb tasks, like thread 12 needles with a string.
Yeah, with a thread.
With a thread.
Yeah, they thread with a thread. They string with a string.
And if they don't lose that and they make it to the end...
We're going way too far.
There's the possibility of winning $1 million.
Yes. This is a bad game.
It's so dumb. And we had a friend, Alex, come over, and we told him how dumb this game was. And we said, don't watch it.
And he went home. And by the way, he said, well, what he said, I won't watch it.
I promise you.
I will not watch this.
Yeah.
45 minutes later, he was at his place watching it.
So what does that say about, like...
recommendations?
Yeah.
Nobody listens. Nobody cares.
You're a bunch of tools.
Yeah.
Jeff, who's on the podcast today?
Pink Sweats.
Pink Sweats, the Philadelphia born and raised R&B singer, signed to Atlantic Records. Jeff, you were onto his music on the earlier end.
I was the first one.
Jeff discovered Pink Sweats, and we are breaking him today.
Today, we break Pink Sweats, who has, 45 million plays on Spotify.
Listen, I was re-listening to the podcast the other day in preparation to put it out tonight, and I had forgotten about one major part of his story, which happens in the middle of this episode. So if you think that you know what his life is all about, growing up in the church, moving from the city to the suburbs, falling in love with skater boy music and other things like that.
You mean literally Avril Lavigne's music?
Yes.
Yeah.
You're not ready for what actually happens in the middle of this episode. So don't guess where this is going. Just sort of take it as it comes. And man.
All right. Before we go any further, I want to give 3 recommendations for episodes that if you like this one, you might like these other ones.
People love this segment.
Number 191 with Tierra Whack.
Tierra Whack, who has collaborated with Pink Sweats, talks about her time growing up in Philadelphia, her time growing up in Atlanta, Georgia, how she worked at a car wash where people like 2 Chainz and Future and Andre 3000 would show up, how she caught the attention of Meek Mill and Flying Lotus and Melanie Martinez, and how she created this career that is so different than what anybody could have even envisioned for a wordsmith from Philadelphia. Listen to that podcast. number
191
with Tierra Whack.
Also, number 207 with Ari Lennox.
Ari Lennox, who's one of our favorite people and has one of our favorite albums of 2019, Shea Butter Baby, which is out now. Please go dive into that. Enjoy it. Let it sink into you. It is one of the greatest works of art you're going to find. She's also on the new Dreamville project called Revenge of the Dreamers 3.
No big deal.
She talked to us about her life, which is just remarkable.
Crazy. Getting on a bus and going out to LA without knowing anybody and
singing for Eric Benet and hoping that Beyonce would find her YouTube covers, and how she actually met Ib Hamad, who is the Dreamville president, how that led to meeting with J. Cole and writing for him and not being signed. And it's just a tremendous journey that we were super excited to speak with her about, and you guys will love that episode, number 207.
I also want to say number 186 with LMA.
We got LMA up here right before her song Boot Up hit the top 10, which eventually, by the way, went number 1 after she was on our podcast.
So you're saying that we deserve a plaque?
I am definitely saying that. All of our friends over at Interscope, send us a plaque for LMA's Boot Up.
Well, actually, I don't want to share a plaque. We share a YouTube account.
Yeah.
We share Netflix.
Yeah. 2 plaques.
2 plaques.
2 plaques. We have lots of wall space. Interscope.
Yeah.
Send us our plaques.
Yeah. Hashtag.
Send us our plaques. LMA came up here.
Oh, I definitely was about to keep going.
LMA came up here and talked all about how she was discovered by DJ Mustard, how she played soccer growing up, how she moved to Queens in the middle of middle school, how she was in a girl group called Arise, how she was on X Factor, how she had this whole sort of vision of how her life was going to go, and then all of a sudden she meets us and she goes to number 1 on the charts.
And she sent us 2 plaques. Amazing. I remember all this.
Shout out to all of our friends over at Interscope, who, by the way, have the 3 artists that you mentioned, Ari Lennox, LMA, and Tierra Whack.
That was not planned.
Send us our plaques.
Yeah, whoa.
Send us our plaques.
What?
Send us our plaques.
1 more time.
Send us our plaques.
2 more times.
Send us our plaques.
6 more times.
Jeff, when do you want to get into it?
Right now.
Yo, what up? It's Eric, a.k.a. Split the Dutch, a.k.a. Double Date.
Yo, what up? It's Jeff, a.k.a. Mask On, Fuck It, Mask Off, a.k.a. Eyes Wide Shut.
Yo, it's Pink Sweats, a.k.a. Watch Your Grandma, because I like old head.
Yeah, it's your 3rd favorite podcast to waste time with ItsTheReal. Yo, Pink Sweats, what's happening?
I'm cool, man.
You're in the R&B space, and I feel like there's this trope in R&B videos where it's like you can put like, you know, rain in a video and anyone just looks cool. Mm-hmm. You come to New York City, it is disgusting outside. Is there any way that you, a very charismatic guy, can just walk down the street and look cool while it's raining?
Nah, I don't thrive in the wet climates.
Not at all. What happens when you go to an aquarium?
Yeah.
Man.
Not so much?
No. I don't think I've ever been to an aquarium.
Really?
Never? How is that possible?
Never.
Have you been to the zoo?
I've been to the zoo.
Okay.
Yeah. It was regular.
Yeah. I mean, is Philly known for its zoo?
Philly is a zoo.
Well, okay.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Well, where are you originally from?
I'm from West Philly.
Okay, and what was growing up there like?
Like a zoo.
Okay.
You got your giraffes.
Yeah.
You got your lions.
Yeah, and that makes you?
I feel like I'm a penguin.
A penguin?
Somebody told me I was a penguin. And I was
Someone
like,
told you?
Yeah, who is this somebody?
I asked somebody. It was a girl. She was like, you know, I see people as animals. And I was like, what animal am I? She was like, I think like a penguin. I was like, I like penguins.
And you ran with that.
I ran with it.
You're like, I can't fly.
Yeah. Well, conversely, is she a bird?
Wow.
Is she a bird? Oh,
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, all right.
That was good.
Growing up in West Philly, big family?
Actually, yeah, my family's pretty big. We had like a stereotypical hood family. Like if you lived in the hood, like your family live on the same block. Like my family lived next door to each other in like 2 or 3 houses.
So you had like cousins and
all my cousins like literally on the same block.
What was Thanksgiving like?
Awkwardly, Thanksgiving was not that big because like my mom, we would go to her mom's house, my grandmom's. So I guess the bigger side of the family comes from my dad. Because my dad, they're Southern. You know, they believe in having a lot of kids and stuff.
So you're living amongst all your cousins there, and what was like elementary school, middle school like for you?
Yo, elementary was crazy, and middle school was crazy. I didn't realize it until I moved to the suburbs when I was older, but it was nuts. It was like every day, like just fighting and like arguing and just being crazy kids.
Including you?
Yeah, man. I was out here in the parking lot with the hands.
Did you have any older siblings?
Nah, I am the oldest.
Whoa, so you gotta live it and figure it out yourself.
Yeah, man.
So who did you like look up to sort of like give you some instruction on how to move?
God. Nah, I grew up mad Christian, so that's just like the typical answer.
What is regular Christian and what's mad Christian?
Man, mad
So
Christian is when I just answered. How
Yeah,
you said.
yeah.
It's like, so who did you look up to? I look up to God.
Yeah.
You know, all things to him. It's
Yeah.
like, what does that even mean? Like, whenever you gotta ask somebody, what does that even mean? It
Yeah.
means they mad Christian.
So like you went to a private school then, like a Catholic school?
No, my parents they had so much faith they did not put me in those.
Oh yeah, yeah.
They put me in the regular school at the zoo. So I was like, cool, bet.
And you still went to like Sunday school?
Nah, I never really did Sunday school because we always too late for church.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of kids to like get ready for school or for church. I'm guessing, right?
No, for real, yeah. My household was like, we do like the prayer every morning, and it's like, I don't do that anymore. It's so annoying.
You say grace over every meal?
Every meal, it's a lot.
And
then you still get sick, and then you get confused. Like, but I prayed over this.
Yeah. Also, at a certain point, like, do you try to switch it up? Or are you doing like the same prayer like every time? It's just like, thank you for
the same one. I think it only upgraded once. And like all my whole life, they had like one thing, and I'm like, who is over these prayers?
Do you ever think like, you know, in that situation, you're just like, you know, whatever your government is. What is your government name?
My government name is on Wikipedia, so I guess I can say it now. It's David.
Okay, so they're like, David, do you want to say the prayer? And you're like, no. No, I don't.
No, actually, I already started.
I'm good. Yeah.
By the way, you could have said that Wikipedia is wrong because like anybody could upload whatever to that.
My fans know. I don't know how they know, but they do.
They're probably from Wikipedia.
Yeah.
No, I'm saying like they like will say it and like at a show like David, and I might look, so they catch you.
Yeah.
'Cause I'm like, nobody ever called me David. Like my mom never called me by my birth name.
What did your mom call you?
DJ.
Because your middle name is?
Doesn't matter.
No. Jesus? Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah. That's how.
Well, but then who does call you David? Like who?
Nobody. That's just it's like I don't know if it's like a black thing, but most of my friends growing up, I still don't know their real name. We just don't really use real
What are
names.
the names of some of your friends growing up? Like that, like nicknames.
Like Doobie, Pooh, like my one boy, he got like 10 different names. Shout out. he go by Jaden. He got Jose. He got Cheo. I don't know which one is the
Yeah, I was about to say, what's the real name?
But when he hear this, he gonna laugh.
Yeah. Were you into church growing up? Like obviously like your parents were pushing you that way, but was there an interest there on your part?
Nah.
No.
I never was in the church. I just didn't like waking up early, going to like listen to somebody. And I don't know, me, I was just like always a curious kid. I love music, so going to church, it was like after the music part is over, it's like
Yeah. But while it was going on, you're like, all right, organs and drums and like,
Yeah.
you know, chorus. I fuck with all that.
that's
So you started
fun.
singing in the church.
No, I'm actually a drummer first.
Oh,
So I
really?
started drumming at church. Like
So did
nobody at my church ever knew me for singing.
Really?
Yeah, no.
So you played drums in school too, or
Nah, my school, we ain't had no music program. We was too hood.
at church? Then how do you express the sort of opportunity?
My grandpa, it was his church, and then my aunt had a church. Like I said, my family's like
Competing churches.
into that. Yeah, low key is kind of crazy because when I was a kid, right? So my grandfather has like a church, and then literally 4 to 5 steps across the street, my aunt has a church. But they're totally different though. Like if you like in the church world, you be like, oh, well, it's a clear difference. But outside, you like, but it's two churches though.
What does one offer that the other doesn't?
Well, one of them is more like,
Better crackers.
Oh yeah.
That actually might be true.
Yeah.
One is what you call Kojic, which I don't really know the difference.
You're not mad
And then
Christian.
one is
yeah.
called Apostolic.
Mm.
And
So
that means
strict as hell.
oh.
Like women can't wear makeup. They can't wear like short dresses.
Wow.
It's like very.
Are they allowed to sit together like women and men?
I don't know that part.
Okay, yeah.
No, yeah.
Yeah?
Because I feel like most of the people at that church is married. So.
Yeah. So you start drumming in church.
Yeah, man. That's my favorite thing to do.
Really?
back then. Yeah.
Was it like a steep learning curve?
Nah, I feel like I got blessed because that was just naturally good.
You always had good rhythm?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For real.
You keep time?
Keep that time.
Yeah.
Flam's crazy.
who
Phil's
is-
crazy.
Who was running the band?
I don't remember. It was different people would come in and out. But one of my cousins, Gennaro, he was doing
Real
that
name?
at one point. Yeah, that's his real name.
Okay.
He was like a lot older than me though.
Mhm.
Like I was a kid. He was full grown, married, and everything.
Yeah. So if it wasn't, church every Sunday playing drums, what were you interested in at a young age?
That was it. I didn't really have much of a life for real. Like my parents was like always just trying to like keep us
Off the block.
off the block.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? So
And
it's
yet you
like,
still got into fights in the parking lot.
But school, I'm telling you, parents, when you send your kids to school, that's when they get ruined. Like at home, they are perfect innocent beings. You send them to school, they come back, they cursing,
Damn.
doing all kinds of bullshit.
If you were homeschooled, you would have been totally
I would've
fine.
been a good Christian boy right now.
Are you listening to like popular music?
I had started to on the radio, but it was more like pop music because my parents didn't fuck with R&B and like rap and shit.
What kind of artists are you listening to early?
Avril Lavigne, Maroon 5. That was it. I mean, I would hear other things, but I wasn't like into it.
When you look back on that time now, do you still like that music, or are you just like
Oh yeah, I still like it. I definitely.
Skater Boy comes on, you go crazy?
Yeah, like I still bang with those songs because it was like a moment where I heard something outside of like standard Christian music, where it was like, oh, I could listen to this and my parents are not gonna like freak out.
Did you have cable or the internet at home?
Nah, internet was not even a thing for real, for real.
When's the first time you got a cell phone?
I was 13.
Was that like your own cell phone, or?
Yeah, nah, it was mine. I had to like pay for the minutes.
What was your first job?
My first job was Chik-Fil-A.
Doing
Yeah.
what?
Getting on everybody's nerves.
No.
I was a cashier.
So you had to have like sort of this big personality to deal with people, or?
I don't really know. I feel like I always been a little extra.
Mm-hmm.
So that's probably. I literally walked in for that, and I happened to meet the owner that right then. He was like, "Oh, you want to just do an interview now?" I was like, "Sure." He's like, "Oh," he's like, "I like you, man. Like I feel like very confident about this." I was
Yeah, like,
so I got
great.
a job? Cool.
how'd you do?
I think I did great.
Yeah.
Nah, I was bad.
No, did you?
I wanted them to fire me so bad because I hated working there. Like, not because it was a bad place, because it actually was super dope. Like, everybody's super nice. Like, everybody's always like, just how you think Chick-fil-A is,
Yeah.
that's how it is behind the scenes.
But having worked there, did you get tired of chicken?
no,
Never.
the opposite.
Yeah.
I literally couldn't eat chicken for a year after I stopped. Like, because nothing tasted right. I was
Yeah.
like, I gotta eat Chick-fil-A.
Just Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, like,
Yeah.
my taste buds is fucked.
Well, what kind of things would you do to try to get fired?
Show up like 2 hours late, and they just would not fire me.
Damn.
It was like, oh, we're so glad you came. I was
Yeah.
like, fuck,
I know.
God damn it. And I couldn't, in my brain, I couldn't quit because then my dad be like, yo, what happened with the job? I'm like, man, I quit. Like, he was like, oh, all right, well, because I was still in high school when I
Right.
started working there, so. And my dad was trying to teach me responsibility. So I
Yeah,
had
you gotta pay
little
that cell
bills
phone
and
bill.
shit.
Yeah.
Nah, it wasn't even a cell phone bill because back then you had minutes. So it's
Mm.
like, all right, you just got the minutes you got.
Damn.
But it was like he was like, all right, then you gotta pay the cable bill and like little things. And in high school, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
your check is like $400 for like 1,000 hours of work.
Were you fly in high school?
Always.
Yeah?
Fresh to death, baby.
What were you wearing?
I would wear like ice creams, and I would wear like I I was kind of like on some Kanye shit. Like I have like the jean pants or like the dress shirt untucked with the tie untied, like on some cool shit back then. And now
Shutter
it looks
shades.
stupid. Yeah.
Wow.
Some shades. Yeah, I was on it. Like I had mad sneakers. I had like probably 40. Every year though, I've probably had 40.
How do you like figure out what's cool?
Yeah, like were you
I
looking
don't know,
at
I never
websites
really
or were you
cared.
like looking at other kids or?
Nah, I always just did what I wanted to do.
Because you're not getting any like sort of information from like the greater world.
Yeah. Yo, bro, like the internet is so funny how like me and my dad was talking about this. He was like, yo, when I was a kid, like making a letter, like an actual letter, like typing the letter A and like a big letter. He was like, that was like a fucking thing. Like,
Yeah.
if you took the computer class, that was like the task. And he was like, yo, it's fucking crazy.
Well, I don't want to blow your mind, but even like setting type for a newspaper before computers was a big thing.
Crazy,
Yeah.
bro. Like my little sister got a phone, bro. She got her first phone when she was like 9 or 10. And I was like, damn, I was paying for my own phone and it was an issue.
Damn.
Like my parents be like, you don't need to have no phone. I'm like, I'm paying for it. Like, what are you? She got a bill and everything and she don't pay. She was 9. I'm like, who are you talking to
Right.
at 9?
She's on the family plan. Leave her alone.
I'm like, yo, remember when you had to talk after 9?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh my God, that was whack. Cause then everybody had to go to bed anyway at 10, so you really got an hour.
Did you finish high school?
I did. That
And
was
then-
the only requirement.
That was it.
Yeah.
Wait,
My
from what?
parents
From
was-
your parents? Just finish
Yeah,
high school?
because I was a horrible student. Like,
How horrible?
I feel like I was the worst kind of student because it's like I could have did better, but I literally
Chose not to.
chose not to. So like teachers like, bro, you gotta pass this class. I'm like, I'll pass. I promise you, I'll pass with a D. Like I don't have to have a
The
A.
barest of
Like,
minimums.
literally,
Yeah.
I would walk into class and literally just go to sleep. Wake up whenever the test is. I'm like, all right, well, this is how many I have to get right, and I will not try to overachieve.
Why did you go to high school then?
Cause my parents wanted me to, so I was like, all right, well, this is what you do. But it didn't feed me, cause it's like my teachers were they're fairly good teachers. Then they're like very realistic about life. Like they would say things like, well, this particular class you're never gonna use, but you gotta pass it. And like me, I'm like, so why the fuck am I here?
Did you take part in gym class, or did you totally like just
Well,
skip that?
In high school, gym was weird, cause when I lived in the hood, they just literally pushed the cart of basketballs out, and then we just played basketball for an hour.
It's recess.
Yeah, literally. But when I moved to the suburbs in high school, it's like they actually had like fucking taking it serious. I'm like, y'all fucking weird, man. So I'm like, all right, let's go. We're gonna play fucking dodgeball. I'm
Well,
like,
did
dodgeball?
moving to the suburbs like change your mentality? Where you're like,
Oh yeah, for sure. I learned how to not be so on guard all the time, because I didn't realize how like in my mind I'm like always like now still like I'll be looking around, but like the first day in high school in 10th grade, that's when I moved to suburbs. I was like looking around thinking somebody's about to fight or like something was about to happen, and this dude I had met, he was like, nah bro, they don't do that here. I was like, for real? Like no. He was like, man, he might get one fight a whole year. I was like, damn, this shit about to be corny.
well, was it a chance for you to like switch up and like
Start fighting everybody.
No, start
Become like the king of the.
start anew to
King
just
of the
like
ring.
to just be someone that you weren't in your old school.
Yeah.
Because you're the new guy, right?
Yeah, for sure. I
And
mean,
no
it
one
was
knows
weird
you.
though, because it was like I never really been like not even on no racial shit, but I never been around white people in like that capacity. I was just like, oh, you just got like culture shock. It's
Yeah.
like,
Well, not that much. You were listening to Avril Lavigne and Maroon
No, I'm
5.
saying,
so
like,
you were
but I don't- I
you
don't
might have been whiter
understand
than
their
that.
life.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
you were.
nah, yeah, because they all. It's like opposite. I was listening to all like Avril Lavigne, and they like trying to be hard and listening
Right.
to 50 Cent.
Right.
Yeah, Beanie Siegel.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like, you heard that new Beans? I'm like, actually, sir, I didn't. Like,
Sir.
Yeah.
I did not.
What's the whitest thing that you picked up by moving to the suburbs? Did you like skateboard? Did you like eat
Nah.
frozen yogurt? Like,
Did
what?
you get a small dog?
Yeah.
Did you?
I started liking dogs.
Yeah.
I feel like white people love fucking dogs, man. In my hood, bro, There's no love and nothing.
Right.
Like I see, I always tell the story. Like I remember one time I seen a dude. He had a chain about like it looked like it was 10 inches thick, just laying over the dog neck, and the dog looked like the dog version of Mike Tyson, just walking the streets like ugh.
Jacked.
I'm just like, yo, no love.
Yeah. Those are not the suburban type of dogs. Yeah.
It's different.
When you graduate high school, what are your plans after that?
I don't know, man. Honestly, that was the most confusing part of my life because all my life I really never planned to be anywhere because it was like my situation where I was growing up. It was like always reminded like, yo, like this many of y'all is more likely to succeed. And I feel like the people who were doing it, they were doing it for the right reason, but in a weird way, it's just like kind of like depressing. You're just like, yo, so these are the statistics. Like people would literally come to our school to show us statistics on AIDS. And I'm like, yo, I wasn't even in high school yet. I'm like, oh shit. Showing us like statistics on like how many of us is going to like potentially be successful or likely to go to college or do certain things. And it's like almost, I guess it was like a tactic to be like, yo, don't be like this. But in the reality, it was just like reminding you. Like,
that's a crazy way to present it.
Your world ain't shit. So it's like I never really planned mentally like to do anything. I was just like, and then high school came, and then all my friends were like, kind of already had like plans. You know, white people be planning shit.
Right.
They're like, oh man, I'm going to this college and that college.
This is like Def Comedy Jam. White people
like,
always be planning.
Yo. Yeah. I learned like, yo, plan for like your future as far as like have an idea of something you want to do. Because most of my friends back home, we didn't really plan for nothing. It was just like we were just living day to day kind of vibe. So
were you still working at Chik-Fil-A?
In high school, well, the program, I was in a work program in my high school where it's like I had to take like a business class and then go find a job.
And what job was that?
That was that's how I started
gotcha.
At Chick-fil-A. So, but yeah, after high school, super weird because it was like, damn, I wanted to be a follower and like go to college, but I was just like, I went to like an orientation for like one of the community colleges just to see, and I was just like, so we got to do all the shit we did last year in 12th grade
again.
Yeah, but on like a higher level.
I was just like, nah, I'm cool. Like, I'm just not going to do this.
Well, what'd your folks say?
My mom, she was like, all right, well, so this is the thing. You got to do something to, like, you know, prove to yourself that, like, you can go out here and make something happen. I was just like, all right, cool. So I enrolled into, like, this acting class that I heard somebody like family friend had went to. Took like 3 classes. They sent me on audition. I landed the audition and then I quit acting. I was like, oh cool. Like after I got the money and everything, I was like, all right, now I proved to myself. I was like, yo, this is gonna be a breeze. I can just do music. 6-7 years later,
wait,
boom.
Okay. What kind of audition? Number one,
this is like an audition. I don't even remember what the way they auditioned it was weird because it's like they make you do way more than you're actually gonna end up doing.
Yeah.
On the thing, but it was like I guess it was like a commercial for like kids who don't have parents. I don't like to say adopted. I don't like that word.
Okay.
But kids who are looking for a home and like and I was like the big brother or something. But the weird thing is I was 18 going on 19, but the character was like 15, so it was like, and I was like, damn, I guess I really look like a kid.
a young 18. Yeah,
so I did that role and it was crazy. It was like playing everywhere. They would play it at the Philly. My friends would be like, hit me up, yo bro, you on TV, I just see you. So after that I just kind of realized, I was like, all right, well, if I really kind of like music a lot, but I didn't know what I wanted to do with music because I always played drums.
Yeah.
So it was like I sang and like talent shows, but it never was like a thing. It was just like something to do. So I was like, all right, I don't want to be an artist. What can I do? So I was just like singing around the city for like demoing songs or whatever. And then one day I wrote a song and then everybody was like, yo, that's hard.
So when you say you wrote a song, what's that process like?
I just started singing some shit.
To a beat or to
it was to a beat.
track?
It was to a track that was like, I was brought in to like demo the song, and then they were like, yo, it's the writers coming to finish the song. And I was like, damn, it was like mad late when I even came. It was like 12 a.m. So I'm like, shit, well, let me just try something. So then I go in the booth and I start singing it, and they was like, yo, this shit, oh, fuck, that shit crazy. I was like, oh, dope. I think I like this. Like, this is what I want.
Was that your first time in the studio?
It was like one of my first times in the studio for me, cause like my mom's a singer, so like I've been in the studio. My aunt, my uncle, like I've been in studios before, but it wasn't like, oh yo, come here, sing, do your thing. So it's like that was like the first time where it was like, yo, I think I want to do this for the rest of my life.
So when you were going to the studio with like your mom and everybody else, like they're singing gospel, I'm imagining. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and would you just like hang out there?
Yeah, I mean, I was literally like, a kid.
Yeah, but like you weren't like taking anything like when people were like working the boards or anything. Like were you taking lessons?
I wasn't paying attention.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Me and my brother would just be play fighting and
actually fighting and
yeah.
When you're recording that demo track, you're just David.
Yeah.
And there's no sort of like detailed plan as to how you're gonna make this a career.
I had just moved. I moved to Philly. I knew I had to be uncomfortable. That's all I knew. So I moved out of my parents' place because my stepmom, my dad, they lived in Jersey, and that's where I went to school in the burbs. But I was like, dang, like I'm not gonna really make it if I'm comfortable. Because I started feeling myself like getting comfortable at like working at Chik-Fil-A, and I'm like, this is my first year out of high school now. Boom. Okay, so what am I do? All right, I need to move, and like I need to be as uncomfortable as possible. So my grandma has like a 1-bedroom apartment in Philly, and so I moved there, and I just slept on the floor for like that full year until like things started to go where I can like make some money, get my own little place or whatever.
Was that the first time you felt like challenged?
I felt hungry, so it was like. It felt easy because I had just came off the high of doing something I never did, acting, and getting, like, you know, compensated for that. So it was like, oh, yo, I could do anything. Like, boom, I'm just going to grind it out, sleep on grandma's floor, and then next year, boom, whatever it is, I don't even know what I wanted to do. I just knew I was going to show up at studios whenever people called me or whatever. But, yeah, I had no real, like, plan or clue. I just wanted to be uncomfortable so that I had, like, the hunger to, like, go after what it is.
Who are some of the people that you meet while you're sleeping on your grandma's floor and going to the studios that really, like, pushed you through this whole time?
I would say it was family friends. It was, like, my Uncle Tommy. He used to be an artist back in the day, and then, like, he got, like, younger cousins and nieces and nephews or whatever. Or people like who he was working with back then, they got kids, and he'd be like, "Oh, yo, you should meet such and such," and it was like, cool. So then we just get in the studio, work on some stuff, and then it'd be like, "Yo, bro, you really dope," and I was like, "Oh, for real?" Like I don't know. Like they all had been doing music longer than me, so I'm not gonna mention them though.
What kind of stuff were you writing about at that point?
Like, very typical shit. It was, like, not interesting to me.
Yeah.
Because I was just trying to be successful at that time. So I was, like, writing what I thought people wanted to hear.
Who sort of, like, sounded like what you were trying to do, like, at that time?
Well, like, Chris Brown, more Chris Brown.
Yeah.
Any hot rapper at the time. Because, essentially, that's all I was... And where I was musically, that's all I was able to make, because if I made a country song in North Philly, people were like,
right,
"Oh, that's cool, young boy, you weird."
I don't want to skip too far ahead. I know that you haven't done too many interviews. You did talk to our friend at Billboard, Carl Lamar.
Yo, Carl.
In that interview, you talk about how you had an esophageal, like a total just like fuck up, like in your esophagus. So, like, what time, when does that play into your life?
That was literally, like, a year after I moved to my grandma's. Oh, no, that year. I'm tripping. So, I was, like, 19. Yeah. It was
when you say esophageal fuck up, like, what is that? What is that?
Well, I have a rare disease called achalasia, which I still don't 100% understand.
But this is something that happened like just naturally. This wasn't like you were in an accident or something.
No, it just happens. It's like a weird thing. But one day, it's crazy because I remember the first time I was like, oh, that was weird. I was like eating in my grandma's crib, and I was like, I had like bit this. It looked like an old ass donut. But I bit it. I was like, nom, 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 eating this shit. And then I was just like, couldn't swallow. And I was like, thought I was about to die. And I was like, I made myself throw up. I was like, damn, that was like weird. Because like I could feel it like in there. And it was like not moving. I was like, whatever. Drink some water, dip out to go to the studio. Then it would just keep happening more and more frequently. And I was like, yo, this shit's getting weird. But I really didn't like want to like burden anybody with that information. So for me, it was just like, all right, my G, like, if it's something super serious, like, I ain't want to, like, have my family paying bills and medical bills and shit. So I was like, well, at least I'm going to, like, do what I love doing. Because at the end of the day, that was the realization that I had come to. It was like, all right, shit, this is fucked up. I felt like literally my body every day was just like, help. Like, this is like, waking up was weird. Like, just staying up through the day. So I was like crazy. It was a crazy ass time. And one time my brother walked in and I was like throwing up or something. He's like, yo, bro, you good? I was like, bruh. So I just like told him everything. He was like, yo, man, I knew something was weird. I'm just like, yo, bro, don't say shit to nobody. Like, just keep it low. Like, if something, God forbid, if I had passed away or whatever, I was just like, man, I don't want everybody being like sad or like keep asking, you okay? You okay? I was like, yo, it's whatever. Like, I'm young. I'm doing what I want to do. Most people don't get to pursue something that they enjoy. So that's how I looked at it.
So in that moment, did you, even if you're not going to the doctor, were you like looking for answers online?
I did for a little bit, but I really just, it's weird because like my mentality was like, I'm not even supposed to be here. So it's like, I'm on borrowed time.
Well, so what was the moment then that forced you into getting it checked out?
My mom, she found out, and then she just would always just be like, you know, you should da-da-da. I'm like, yo, like, leave me alone. Like,
yeah, let me throw up in peace.
Yeah, like, let me go through this shit on my own. But then one day I was just like, all right, why not? Like, what could it hurt? I go, and then I think I went to like 2 different doctors, but it was like a specialist in like
Enterology,
yeah, something like that. So it was like, all right, cool. Because the first doctor I kind of went to, it's a rare disease, so they naturally was just like, oh, you got acid reflux. I'm like, nah, my nigga, I just lost like 30 pounds in a week.
Right.
It's not.
Right.
That has nothing to do with acid reflux. Like, all right, cool. Well, take these pills and let's try it out. And I'm like, no, I'm not taking the pills.
Right.
Like, all right, cool, whatever. So I'm like, fuck this guy. Go to the specialist, and it was just like, okay, so yeah, you got achalasia. And I was like, cool, a name for it.
Yeah.
Like, it's just a relief. I was like, so, all right, realistically, like, is this like deadly? Is it like y'all can fix it? Like, just let me know. Like, whatever it is, I've already been dealing with it for like years at this point. So just let me know. And they were like, oh yeah, like, it's a surgery you could get, or it's like a thing we can try. I was like, let's just do the surgery. Like, whatever is the most.
So you weren't afraid of like getting cut open, any of that?
Nah, man. I just feel like just do what we gotta do. Like,
yeah.
If it's fixable, let's just fix it. That's how I felt. I was like, all right, because that way I can like keep working. Because really, I had been working all the way through, and like none of my friends knew that I was going through this. I was just like trying to, make my dreams happen. I wanted to be a.
But how hard is it to, like, you're living at this point? I mean, I wasn't there, but it seems like you were living like a semi-normal life. Like, your friends didn't know you were going out, I'm sure, to see your friends, maybe going out to like dinners and stuff, lunches, whatever.
Well, no, yeah, they definitely noticed like I was going to the bathroom a lot, but I don't think they was thinking like I'm in there throwing up. They probably like, yo, man, you gotta get your bladder checked.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I don't know. But they definitely be like, yo, man, you good? And I'm like, yeah, bro, I'm straight, man. Like, guys, we don't really dig too much.
Well, and then you decided on surgery.
Yep.
And how was that process? And the bounce back.
The process was cool. It was fairly simple, I guess, on my end, because I didn't do anything.
You laid there.
You went
I
under,
woke up, I was like, oh.
Yeah.
And I couldn't eat for like 2 days, and then I had to eat like liquids and shit for like 2 days after that.
So all in all, how much weight do you think you lost in that period?
Oh, in that time, probably like legit 50, 60 pounds.
Holy cow.
Wow.
And it was like, but it happened really quick. So like, I even like low key, I got traumatized from like seeing myself a certain way. Cause like when I look at I seen like a picture or something the other day, I was like, I didn't look that bad. It's just in my brain, it happened so quick. So
right.
It's just like waking up one day, you look like that's like if you gained
right
30 pounds overnight, you like, what the fuck? Like,
yeah,
holy shit. But like it was weird. So like I literally would just eat, and then I was also like I love food, so it was like shit. I hadn't been able to eat like a meal or drink a bottle of water
or eat a bad donut.
A bad donut straight up for like 4 years.
Wow.
So I was like, shit, I'm about to fuck all the pizza up that I can get. Like, I don't give a shit. Like, for real, I love pizza. So that's literally all I did. I got the surgery like 2.5 years ago.
Wow. Did you wake up and think you had a second lease on life?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's why I even became an artist, because it was just like, damn, like, before, I never really wanted to be an artist because I didn't really like attention in that way. But I was like, fuck, like, I got these talents. And then, like, it's a Christian parable, which is, like, about a person with 1 talent, 2 talents, like 5. It's just saying, like, whatever you have, use it. It's not even, like, really that religious of a principle. It's just like, yo, if you're saying, like, you want to be this level in life, what are you doing to get there?
Yeah.
Like, are you holding back some of your talents?
Your God-given talents, yeah.
You are so Christian.
I mean, that's like something I live by. Like, I'm not even gonna cap you. Like, I believe in, like, if you want to get somewhere in life, you gotta use all that you have to like try to get there. Versus, like, people forever was like, yo, bro, you should be an artist. You should be an artist. I'm just like, why? Like, no, I don't want to be an artist. And I'm just like, damn, why don't I want to be an artist? And I start thinking about it. I'm like, man, that's kind of selfish. Like, if my music can change somebody's life, because like I'll be in the studio with like hard ass dudes, and then a dude be like, yo, man, that song was kind of crazy, bro. I want my girl to hear it. Like, send me that. And I'll be like, all right, bet. He's like, yeah, man, like, da 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 da. And I was like, damn, like, that's just one person. So like, what if I can put my music out there to affect more people? And like, you know, so then we did it. I was like, fuck, let's go. And it worked.
How quickly after recovery were you able to start singing again?
Kind of immediately. Like, I think I went back to the studio like the next week, something like that.
Was that against your doctor's orders or?
Nah, my doctor was pretty like hardcore. She was just like, yo, like, start trying to get back into your regular life. You know, obviously with eating, it was like, yo, take a week or two to like dive into like solid foods. But
I'm sorry, they cut your chest open?
No, actually it's like,
or they went in through the throat or something, or
they on some futuristic shit. Like, they literally
Snap
made
their
like
fingers or
these
what?
tiny incisions at like the top of my stomach, because your esophagus goes very far down, and then they operated inside. So they didn't even like, it's like
robotically or whatever.
Yeah, it's crazy.
When you woke up, were you in pain?
Not, I mean, they had me on.
Yeah, sure.
I
Heavy
didn't
drugs.
know.
Yeah.
By the time I left, I didn't really.
But it wasn't like you couldn't like roll over or like walk or.
Oh no, I was walking.
Yeah.
I was talking. Everything.
Running.
Yeah.
Nah, I
Yeah.
never
Dunking.
I never was a runner.
When they rolled the basketballs out on the court, you're just like, whatever.
I was like, man, pass me that.
Yeah. With this new lease on life, with this new sort of like this focus for yourself, how do you then make it to become an artist? Do you have to at some point go from David to Pink Sweats? Like, is that a mentality?
Nah, man, I feel like it literally was just like, all right, if I'm gonna do this, I took a little piece of like my upbringing. It was just like, I don't like people running up to me, calling me by my first name.
What about your first 2 names?
Yeah, DJ. Yeah.
Yo, everybody calls me DJ. That's my whole family calls me that. Like, if you call me that, it's like you my peoples.
Yeah.
But it's like I don't know. I hate it. And like even in school when I went to the suburbs, people like know each other's full names. That's another thing that like suburban people do. They like, do you know Tyler Johnson? I'm like, why are you using this man full name?
Right.
Like,
it rolls off the tongue better.
I don't get it. Like I used to hate that. They were like, David who? David such and such. I'm like, bruh, you don't gotta say my full name.
Maybe there were multiple Davids in your grade.
It don't matter. You just figure it out. It's like you don't walk around saying people full names. But that's a violation, man. But what was the question again?
So yeah, well, like, was it a mentality in changing like from one thing to another? Like is it a persona? Is Pink Sweats like someone different than David?
Nah, actually, it's just literally it's just a color that changes.
Yeah.
It's just like, yo, I wear a little more pink than I would have, but I always like pink.
So where did the name come from?
Somebody just said Pink Sweats. I had on pink sweats. And I was just studio bumming. He was like, yo, Pink Sweats or whatever. And then somebody they didn't say it to me, said it to my manager. He told me. He was like, I was like, that's kind of cool. And then like 2 months later when I became an artist, I was like, Pink Sweats.
Yeah.
Simple.
You're recording songs, and what type of style are those songs at that point?
My songs?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They're the exact songs that are out. I don't ever make any more than I need to.
But you were also writing for other people.
Oh, those are like, to me, typical songs.
Yeah.
I don't want to like diss any artist, but
Sure.
they weren't like out of the box. I feel like most artists try to like copy and like borrow intentionally. To me, I'm like, if it happens, it happens. Like I'm singing a melody, I'm like, oh, and then I'm like, oh, well, that was that. Oh, cool, whatever.
Yeah.
But like I'm not sitting and listening like, oh, this has to have the Migos flow here, and like, fuck, well, I don't want to be like somebody else. That's
Yeah.
like wanting to wear somebody else's shirt. Like, I like his shirt. Yo, bro, can I borrow that? Like right off of me right now? Like that's kind of weird.
Well, isn't that what like Jesus would do though?
That is exactly what Jesus would do.
Jesus would give it, but he'd be like,
That's what I'm saying.
this is weird, brother.
What was the first placement that you really sold?
Probably Tierra Whack.
So how do you guys meet?
Was it just around Philly?
Out in Philly, yeah.
Yeah.
So you're just like, you're an up and coming artist. I'm an up and coming artist. We should get together and see what happens.
Nah, not even. I never tried to work with people. I just always just stayed writing in my like little thing. I always believe that like you'll meet the right people as long as I'm putting myself out there. But I'll never like trying to like network. I don't DM people like, yo, let's work. Because like 1,000 people a day are doing that.
Yeah.
So my thing is just like, let me just make good music, connect with like a dope manager, which I eventually did. But
And word will spread.
With Tierra, it was just we was just working in the same vicinity. So it's like, oh, cool. Like she would come listen to my music, I would come listen to her music. I'll be making a beat. She'd be like, yo, that's hot. Yo, do. I'm like, oh, you want this beat? Cool. But I never was like, yo, come over here. Let me make a beat for you. And I feel like she always rocked with that because everybody's always hitting her up to work.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, who's approached you in your DMs that you've been like, oh, okay, like that's somebody that I would work with? Or like I'm glad that like you came to me and you don't listen to my advice about what I do.
I don't know. It's weird because I don't really have like extensive conversations in DM, but people hit me up. They're just like, yo, man, appreciate your work. Like, you're doing your thing. Or like, let's link or something like that. To me, that's casual.
Yeah.
But like, I hate when people are like, yo, check out my beats.
Oh, yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like, bro, this never works. Like, almost never.
Does Philly seem at that point like a small city to you?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
'Cause it's not really much there. Like, as far as the creativity is there, but as far as the outlets, it's not many. Like,
So then do you look to the internet and you're just like, well, my work can go everywhere in the world?
as far as Pink Sweats,
Yeah.
yeah, because I wasn't even in Philly at that time. I was in LA. I was working on some. I don't like talking about other people's work, but I was working on something, and it was pretty cool at the time for me. And I was like, oh, cool, dope. So I was on a high from doing that, and then I was like, bet. And I would come home every day and just work on songs. And
So does that mean that you in Philly, working with Tierra Whack, working on your own stuff, the word sort of spreads and then someone in LA is like, I would like to bring you out here, and that's what got you out there?
How did I get to LA? I was writing for someone, and they brought me to LA to work with them.
And that was your first time in Los Angeles?
No, that was like my second.
Okay.
My first time was with Wiz Khalifa. I gotta say that because he's
Whoa.
a real one. But I wasn't writing for him. I was just like with my boy Kenny, and we were like making beats and shit.
That's dope.
Was it Kenny Beats?
No. He just put beats behind it. Yeah. He's like, oh, you know Kenny Beats? It's like, I totally made that shit up. You're a fucking piece of shit.
But you go out there and you're around Wiz.
Yeah, Wiz is a real dude.
He's
like,
the best.
He is literally the best. I literally was like, damn. And he was on fire. Like, so I was like, man, like, he's just so chill. Like, I'd always been around, like, celebrity stuff who they was kind of, like, cool, but not really. Like, had, like, a little diva thing about them. But he was just, like, super
Very
chill.
down to earth.
Yeah.
Very down to earth.
He is what he represents.
He loves kickboxing.
He does.
Yeah. He look like he'll fuck somebody up.
Yeah. While you're out there, are you just like, oh, this is how a real, like, you know, hip hop / like pop session works?
Yeah, I mean, he just had a crazy work ethic, and it just validated for me what I was already doing, which I think universally that's probably what I needed to see at the time.
Then you go back to Philly, and then you're brought out to LA
grinding.
again.
Yeah, I kept grinding. And then my boys who I had met via the internet.
Yeah.
I didn't reach out to them, but a producer that I work with, my boy Luke, he met them on the internet. They started working, and he was like, yo, I know this crazy writer. Boom, I'm going to bring him in, which is me.
Yeah.
And I started working with the guy, and I didn't really like him like that because he was like, he was kind of weird back then. But then he, like, found his vibe, and he had, like, a new team and everything. And then he reached out to me, like, 2 years later, like, yo, bro, I think you could, like, come over here and, like, help us out with some stuff. And I was like, oh, bet. Like, I saw, like, his whole thing was, like, put together a lot better than it used to be. I was like, all right, cool, bet. So then I ended up meeting my manager through that. We started vibing. It was just like, oh, cool. Like, he loves, like, what I do. And I respected, like, that he was a stand-up guy and, like,
Well,
really
how did you know that he was
hardworking.
a stand-up guy?
Man, when you've been around enough shitty motherfuckers, you just know. I can't really explain it.
Well, did the shitty aspect of this business turn you off to music whatsoever?
Nah, I just always knew that I just needed to get out of the city where I was at. Because it was just like, all right, now my mind was starting to get tainted to the city that I love.
Yeah.
So it's like, all right, now what I got to do? I just got to leave before I just like don't like Philly at all.
At what point do your parents sort of like catch on and they're like, oh, this is a real career and this is like...
Yesterday.
Yeah.
Or 2 days ago.
Well, what happened?
I'm so serious. Y'all think I'm joking?
I really thought you were kidding. Wait,
Yeah.
this is real?
Well, I mean, because, like, nobody knows what a songwriter is outside of music. They're like, so what do you do? Like, how are you making money? I'm like, you sell a song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What does that mean? It's like, oh, my God. Just don't worry about it. It's like,
It's in the name of the job title.
Right.
yeah, it's like
I'm a
you would
songwriter.
think-
I write
Well,
songs.
I'm going to guess that, like, you know, YouTube plays don't mean much to your parents.
Well, they of course, because
Yeah,
now
yeah.
people like they go to school. Like my parents, they work at a school. All the little kids like, oh, you know Big Sweat? Oh my God.
Do I know him?
They're
Yeah.
like, oh my God, we're just so like, it's unbelievable that people like they know you, like know you, and they know singing your songs. And I was like,
So your parents listen to the music?
well, they started to, and not hypocrites. Nah, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
But I was like, it's funny because I asked my dad. I was like, "Yo, they came to my show in DC. They drove out to DC.
You
And I
made
was
them drive out?
What are you going to fly
I was
like
gonna
45
fly them
minutes?
out. Yeah, right.
Just a quick puddle jump?
Yeah.
They came to DC and
Get that first class, you know?
right, first class flight to DC, 45 minutes.
Yeah.
What did my dad say when I asked? I was like, "Yo, what you think about the show?" Oh, he was like, "You know, it was a good, clean show." And I was like, such a Christian answer, you know? He's like, "I liked it. It was clean."
Maybe you meant clean like hashtag clean. Like, yo,
Yeah.
that's clean.
You don't know what that is. Hashtag.
But while you're like going back and forth to LA, are you confident that your music is going to work for you? That you don't have to sort of switch to do what is typical for what's on the radio?
Yeah, I feel like once I left Philly, I feel like my opportunities broadened because I always wanted to do every genre. Like that's what, and I always wanted to do like, I still haven't done it yet, but I want to do movie work. Like
I still haven't done it. You've been at this for like, you know.
Well, I don't know. I feel like it's a thing for me to just dream big. Like somebody, actually my boy Brendan, he posted on Instagram, on his Instagram. He posted my high school quote, and it literally was like, dream big or don't dream at all.
Huh?
And he was like, yo, and he came to my show in DC.
Who said that? Jesus?
My boy Brendan.
Yeah.
I took it from something, because I used to love English class, because I was always into like creative writing and stuff. But I can't remember who said it. It's somebody really famous actually. But it was like that's always been my thing. It's like, I mean, realistically, I always wanted to put myself in a position where it's like, yo, it's do or die. I hate having options to be like run away, because I definitely will. So it's like, all right, what do I want to do? Well, you only got two options, like go hard or go home.
Realistically, you could have worked, at a Chik-Fil-A for the rest of your life, right?
Literally.
But because you backed yourself into a position where it's like you have no second option, you have no backup plan, that you forced your own hand.
Yeah, I feel like self-awareness is key though. Like I learned that throughout my life, and I feel like I was always more self-aware than I gave myself credit, because it's like, oh, I don't want to do this or I don't want to do that. Like, yo, bro, this is an opportunity. Like, I don't care. Like, I don't want to be in a session with this rapper or this person. Well, bro, this could be a big opportunity. Like, well, it'll be one for somebody else, not for me. So I always thought that way. But it's like when you got a lot of people around you telling you like, oh, da-da-da, occasionally you'll cave in and you'll be like, all right, man, whatever. But it's like, me, I always thought that way. Like, yo, I'm going to do what I want to do and what makes me happy, versus trying to like follow the trend of like being this like, because as a writer, it's like kind of like a circus, because you really are in a customer service kind of business, because like, you're writing what you think someone else wants to hear. That's like McDonald's coming up with a new burger. They think you want that. They're like, oh, you want this. It's like you're in the customer service industry. So it's like you really feel the pressure to be like something that's already out, because like, all right, this makes income. Like this is how I'm going to get off the couch at grandma's or like off the floor. But reality is, once you be creative, you introduce something new to the market, that's when you're most valuable.
Because there's no one else like you.
Yeah, it's like somebody, what was those things? Remember those bracelets that were like animals? They were like animals, and then silly bracelets or something they were called. They were like pretty popping like 5 years ago. But then everybody started making them. Like,
sure.
And it was like a thing where the company was worth so much money, but then like anybody could just copy it.
Right.
And it was like, damn, like why would you copy this cool thing instead of putting the time and energy to make something dope? And
right. Why were there a million fidget spinners as opposed to
I should have
just
used
like
that as a better example. It's like, yo, you make a fidget spinner because it's not branded. Anybody could just make one now.
Right.
They don't know where it came from.
Right.
Yeah, but the good news is that there were so many millionaires made from the fidget spinner business that like all boats were lifted up. It's sort of like, the Instagram artists, who DM, they say like, oh, like, like DM me for illustrations. the Instagram illustration industry is crazy right now. That's where you should invest your money.
Exactly right. What's the first song for you or video that really like pops off and you're like, whoa, this is bigger than I even imagined?
Honesty, my first single, Honesty.
What was the sort of big turning point for that song and video?
Honestly, I can't really tell you. It just seemed like, damn, like this shit is like, people fuck with this. Like that's what I kept thinking in my head. Like I knew in my head, I was like, all right, it's something different. It's dope. And actually, shout out to my manager. He's the reason that I even chose it as a single, because he didn't love the song at first. He was like, it's cool. I don't love it. I was like, I think it's dope.
Yeah.
And then the next day, he was like, bro, this song's stuck in my head. And in my head, I'm like, this is the single.
When you put that song out and it just keeps climbing, that's the point when people start reaching out to work with you, to sign you, and to make you a bigger thing than you even, thought was possible.
Yeah, essentially.
What was the meeting with Atlantic Records like?
Atlantic Records. What was that meeting like? It was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Honestly, I shout out to all the labels, because realistically, it was a something new for me. Like, I don't think you really just get to that point many times in your life where it's everybody's like, ah.
Yeah.
And everybody was very nice, respectful. But Atlantic, for me, it was, how I am now, like I'm saying, like I want to be able to do what I want to do and like not have any restraints, and I don't want to feel like, oh, I'm a black artist, I need to do this or act a fool or do some bullshit on Instagram, because I don't really know labels. I've always been a writer, so it's like I just assume that like y'all all the devil, like right. But that's not the case. I feel like for me and my whole team, they back me up on like, yo, like I want to make music that's gonna be here for a long time. I'm not chasing a quick hit with like, oh, we just hit 100 million streams on such and such, and it's like, all right, well, we gonna be listening to this next year even, like, right. I'd rather get the long term thing, and they understood that, and they was like, oh, bet, like, yeah, whatever, what else you need? Like, I was like, oh, cool. And I'm like, I'm not doing no features right for a while. I have a goal, I have a vision.
They let you make the music videos you want to make?
Yeah, well, I mean, by the time I came to Atlantic, everything was already pretty on fire. Mm-hmm. It wasn't like, it was just like them saying like, yo, let us be a part of it. Yeah. We believe in the vision, and then eventually we'll jump in.
But and in terms of your first performances as Pink Sweats, how did that work for you?
Oh, man, it was fun. It was like, it's weird because I didn't grow up performing, and it's funny, my parents said that the other day. It was like, seeing you perform, you would have thought you've been doing this for a long time. And I was like, yeah, like obviously they're my parents, they know.
So I was like, just like super comfortable on stage.
Yeah, it feels like the right timing, and I feel like for me, I feel prepared and I'm confident in like what I'm good at. I don't try to do like, I'm not gonna try to dance like Chris Brown. Then I'll be feeling nervous. Right. Like, all right, like that's not what I do.
By the way, I so want you to at your next show. Yeah.
You want me to look crazy out here?
That'd be amazing.
But like, I'm confident at what I do, and I feel like at my shows, my fans and like people who come to experience Pink Sweats, they're like, yo, this motherfucker can sing. Like I feel like I can sing. So it's like, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm not gonna try to be anybody else or copy anybody else and like steal somebody else's sauce, like what they do on stage. It's like, yo, when you come to my show, you're gonna feel like, yo, this motherfucker really can kind of sing a little bit. Like, all right, I'll fuck with him.
Yeah. So now you've been on the road. What's something that you found out about yourself when you're traveling? Like, what's something that you like either need or that like is something just about you?
That's a good question.
They're all good questions.
Yeah, that was a really good one though. I really got to sit and ponder on that, huh? I think the camaraderie amongst like other people in like close quarters, because like I got a band now, and like just learning how to like team build, like, if that makes sense, like building you, because like for me, everybody that's like that I'm working with now, that's like family. So it's like my manager, my creative team. It's like trying to extend that and bring all of that into like a bigger family with like the band and like tour manager and like people who are like going after it every day on my behalf. I'm just trying to make everybody feel like important and like nobody's like disposable. Like,
yeah, not cut out of the circle because like you haven't talked to them that day.
Yeah. So for me, it's like trying to balance that. That's something I learned about myself. It's like I actually feel like I'm pretty decent at that.
How do you like the after party? Are you somebody who likes a chill after party? Or are you somebody who likes to turn up?
I like to turn up, but I can't because my voice takes a hit. But yeah, when I'm on the road, I chill. Like I literally do my performance. I take tons of pictures. I try to take as many as I can. But after that, you get so tired. It's like draws on your energy in a new kind of way, like that obviously I'm new to. So it's like emotionally draining, mentally you just like, what the fuck? I just took all these pictures and like all these, then you just thinking, because people tell you these stories, they're like, yo, I drove all the way from here, and then I'm like feeling bad for them. I'm like, was I worth it? Like, I hope you liked it.
You performed on Kimmel.
So bad.
Why?
I feel like my voice was so shit. compared to like how it usually
And
is.
Jimmy had driven so far to see you.
I know, yeah.
No, he came from like Alaska that day on foot.
Well, what was it? What was the experience like?
I mean, the experience was amazing, but it's me in my head about it. I'm just like, man, like my voice. I had strep throat.
Really?
Like, really.
I mean, that's a
bad.
pretty good excuse.
Yeah, it was pretty bad though. Like I was fucking sick for like a whole week and a half.
Did you feel like that before you started? Like before cameras turn on, how were you feeling?
Oh yeah, I felt like shit.
Yeah, so you were just like it felt like.
Yeah, I knew it wasn't gonna be my best. I knew that. Luckily for me, I always say people can't really sing these days, so people's bar is so low. They're just like, yeah, he killed that shit. I'm like, nah, bro. Come to the live show. You'll see the difference.
Do you think that at some point in your life and career, you're going to be at a point where you can wear things that are not just pink?
Yo, that's funny. Justin Bieber actually was like, bro, you don't gotta wear pink forever. I was like, I know, like, it's fun. Like, for now, it's fun. I feel like I've always been the kind of person to just go with how I feel. Like, if I wake up one day, I'm like, you know what, I don't want to be pink sweats no more as far as the color.
Right, yeah. Your name is
because really the color, for people listening, it's like marketing. So, like, I took a business class in high school, and, like, what I'm trying to promote is love, positivity, and something fresh for this generation, because it's not so common these days that you turn on the radio and hear like people talking about real love and like enjoying someone. Or like I know some people, they only listen to rap. I'm like, yo, that's so stupid. Like, how can you only listen to one thing? To me, that's
why can't you listen to Avril Lavigne and Maroon 5?
yeah, like shit, Maroon 5 is lit. Y'all tripping.
But even like Pink, she changed her hair color. You can change yours. There's no rules.
Yeah, but I think it's after the message is across, because like I feel like, especially for me, it's important as a black singer, male singer, to promote certain things. Like I said, to offer balance, because like I bang a rap, I like the Migos, but I don't want to hear only the Migos all the time. I don't want to only hear Avril Lavigne all the time. I want a mixture. I like, I can't even remember who said it, but it like resonated with me. He was saying I think he is a creator of his own.
Tyler.
No, it's not Tyler. He was saying the quote was, he said a lot of rappers sound like they only listen to rap. He was like, and that's backwards, because that's not even how rap started.
Right.
Like, to back in the day, you had the sample, so that means you had to hear something before, because rap didn't exist.
Right.
So it's like, how you gonna make your beat if you only listen to this? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I was like, damn, that's deep. Like that applies to all genres. Like if you make R&B, you shouldn't only listen to R&B. So
right.
For me, the color pink is just, that's to grab your attention and be like, yo, just same way as people doing gimmicks on Instagram. It's just, I'm trying to give you some vegetables, even though I don't like vegetables. Like that.
Personally, you don't?
Yeah, like I'm not gonna eat a salad. I just don't like paying for lettuce. Like if it's free, you're gonna give me a salad, I'm like, all right.
But lettuce
cool,
is
maybe.
the least interesting vegetable.
I know, but that's the only one that comes to mind when I think about vegetables.
Do you like any vegetable?
I used to love broccoli, and like to this
it's a
day,
good vegetable.
Funny story, my grandma still offers me broccoli. I don't eat broccoli no more. I don't like that. I passed on to something else. Like she's like, I got your favorite thing. I'm like, I was 10 when I liked broccoli.
Yo, that broccoli died for your sins. You understand?
Yo, shout out my grandma.
Listen, congratulations on not just sticking to Chik-Fil-A and expanding your palate, as it were, and becoming Pink Sweats. And it's been exciting to watch so far, and we're excited for everything that's about to happen. And congratulations.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me.
No doubt. Of course. Thanks everyone for listening to this new episode of A Waste of Time with It's The Real Jeff. If you want to find out more about us, I'm Eric with the curly hair. You're Jeff with the glasses.
And the 2 plaques.
Wait.
Yeah, I'm getting 2. You're getting none.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, we're It's The Real.
Surprise.
Yeah. No apostrophe, no spaces. If you want to find out more about this podcast of ours, it's called A Waste of Time with It's The Real. Jeff, people want to find out more about what's going on with us. Where can they go?
You can always go to ItsTheReal.com, ItsTheReal.com. Go sign up for our newsletter there. We've got stuff in our merch shop. Go check all of that out. We've got mugs, we've got shirts, we've got notebooks. You can listen to all of our old episodes and all of our new ones if you go to any streaming platform. I'm talking about the one that you are currently listening to this podcast on.
That's right.
We've got more episodes right there.
About 260 episodes.
Yeah, so, you know,
check out
80,000 hours.
Is that right?
No. What?
I don't know, Jeff.
Not every episode is 50 hours long. You can also find us on social media. It is 2019, and we are just two young men trying to make it in this business. We are on Twitter at ItsTheReal, Facebook at ItsTheReal, and Instagram at ItsTheReal. We are also on Reddit. There is a page for ItsTheReal.
Shout out to us.
Shout out to us.
And shout out to Abu Khalid who set it up.
Yes.
Jeff, now is the time where we like to shout people out, and here's a little funny story that comes to us from our mom. Our mom was taken out to lunch and museum by her good friend of a long time.
Yeah.
Cheryl Sherman.
50 some odd years.
Let's not date them, Jeff.
All right.
Cheryl Sherman from Seacliff, New York. And Cheryl listened to episode 250, starring our mom. And she met up with her cousin's son, Noah.
Well, that's like a nephew, right? Cousin's son. Or no, I guess it's a cousin.
Son. It's like a cousin. She met up with her cousin's son,
Second cousin once removed.
Noah Goldowitz from Queens, who happens to work for Ewing Athletics. And she was like, hey, have you heard of these guys right here? Showed the phone with our faces on the podcast app. And he said, never heard of them. No, he was like, actually, yes, I'm a huge fan of them. And a lot of my friends listen to their podcast. And how do you know them? And Cheryl was like, I've known them for their whole lives, but all of a sudden, apparently, they're popular on podcasts. So shout out to Cheryl, shout out to Noah, shout out to our mom for letting us know this is bigger than we even knew. And shout out to all you guys for listening every week. Anything else?
Yeah, if you want to get shouted out on the podcast, maybe you should talk to our mom.
Jeff, as always, not for real, for real.
Sure.
We'll see you guys next week.